One of the problems that we have today is that Muslim entrepreneurs know very little about business transactions. And sometimes they intentionally fall into haram, and at other times they just don't know about it. So let's talk about that. So inshallah, this video is going to be an educational video for the Muslim entrepreneurs and also for those who aspire to be entrepreneurs. So what makes a business haram or halal? So the number one is the product or service. So if the product or service is haram, then the entire business is haram. For example, let's say that you sell alcohol. Alcohol is haram. So now we got to go back to the basis of it, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that wine is haram and gambling is haram. So from that, we derive that alcohol is haram. Now, us selling alcohol also becomes haram, because anything that we do with something that is haram, the base, and we make money out of it, that money is going to be haram. Let's say that we have a bank and we basically both consume riba on that bank, or we loan with riba. That's also the entire business model. It's haram. Or we sell adult content. That's haram. So from this rule, what we derive is that anything that is haram in itself makes your business haram if you sell it. So why is it even important to worry about that? Well, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ speaks about a man who was in the desert, disheveled, full of, really, he was struggling, in the desert. And he starts calling, oh Lord, he's making dua. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ talks about him. It's like, hey, but his food is haram. His clothing is haram. His entire nourishment is haram. How is his dua going to be answered? So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is questioning whether his dua is going to be answered. And it's basically indicating that your risk, the way how you earn your risk, is going to determine how, whether Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers or not. The second thing is transaction type, okay? So not all transaction types are the same, okay? So for example, if you sell something that you don't own, that is a form of Gharar, okay? And that is not permitted in Islam, okay? Or if there's a lot of uncertainty, right? So let's say that you sell, Ibn Taymiyyah mentions in his book, that you sell the fish without catching it. That is also haram, because there's a high certainty that you collect the money and you may not be able to get the fish. Or let's say that you have hidden terms, okay? You do not clearly mention some of the terms in the contract. That is also haram, okay? Or for example, you sell something for something else. In the picture, for example, let's say that you have an online store, okay? On the picture, you have something that looks very expensive. And then on what he is buying over there, when you look at the description of that contract, it's not the same. So that is haram. So now, if all of your transactions go through this, then the entire business is haram. But if some of them go, then that income would be haram. And this is how we would go. Now, one of the students asked me, what about if it is just a small percentage that is haram, right? So the analogy that I want you to think about this is, if we have a glass of water, a cup of water like this, right? If we put in this cup of water a little bit of oil, okay, fuel, would you drink it? If the answer is yes, then okay, go ahead and do some haram. But if the answer is no, then you probably don't want to mix the halal with haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran the Jews and the Christians, Yahud wa Nahara, the Sara, he mentions how how they mix the truth with falsehood, meaning that there's some truth in it, in what they say, but they mix it with falsehood. So that's their fault, okay? So now if you're going to mix the truth with falsehood, then you should be careful, because that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is likening you with. The third category is people you work with. So the third category of what could make a business haram is the people you work with. For example, if there is a military that it's basically committing a genocide, or it's committing atrocities on innocent people, and you sell weapons to them. Now, we're going to make the assumption that producing weapons, let's say, it doesn't matter, even swords, even though we don't do war with swords anymore, it is not allowed for you to sell those swords or those weapons to that army that is an evil army. So even though you could be, not even that, even cars, so it would not be allowed for you to sell it to them, because you'd be killing your brothers or the innocent people. So that could make or for example, another example would be you selling, let's say, to prostitutes, you selling anything to them to assist them, to aid them in what they are doing. Let's say underwear, selling underwear may be haram, maybe halal, because, even the Muslims could consume them, but they don't go out with them. But if you know specifically that what they are going to use those things is for prostitution, then that becomes haram for you to sell it to them. And if they are your only target audience, your entire business model becomes haram. All right, now let's talk about the fourth one. The fourth one is funding sources. So let's say that you start a business and you go to the bank and you get 100% of your money from the bank, but you sell ice cream. What do you think? Is this business halal or haram? This business is haram. The product that you're selling, sure, it's ice cream, but it was founded on haram money. So the business itself is halal. What you're going to sell afterwards is halal. But the transaction that you made, the initial transaction, is haram. It was built on haram. Finally, the fifth category is business practices. So, for example, let's say that you fake testimonials. You have a product that is not doing so good. You have this water that I drink. Ooh, I don't like it. I give you bad reviews. But then there's another brother who drinks it and he says, oh, this is great. Now, what you do is that you're not showing both sides. Or you are even faking it. You're creating random people, random reviews, and you're putting them in there as if they have given you those reviews. So that is a type of deception. So the business practices, or for example, deceptive marketing. You say, hey, there's only 3 spots left when there's really 50 spots left. Or you create this sense of urgency when there is really no sense of urgency, but you're just trying to deceive people, okay? Or you not fulfilling the contracts. You basically said that you're going to do this, but then when it actually happened, you gave some warranty, and when it happened, you decided to skip on that warranty. So all of these examples can make either the transaction, or if you deal with this day in, day out, and you lie, these are all transactions that are haram. Finally, the sixth one. The sixth one is the impact that your business has on the society. So there could be a scenario where you are selling something that is completely halal, but the way how that is being used, the harm that it is bringing to the society is bigger than the benefit. So let's say that you have a social media platform, okay? And on that social media, there's some good in it, but there's so much evil in it happening by people sharing like nakedness, and by people sharing garbage, and by people undermining the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the role of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our lives, and the role of the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that platform becomes a source of undermining Islam, that could make your business haram, even though that on itself, the product or service is halal, but the impact that it is having into the people, it may make it haram. Or for example, if your kids are consuming it and you're deliberately targeting kids and that is harming them, so that may make your business haram. Now, is there a way for you to get, yeah, of course, you can change course. Let's say that we spoke about who you're selling to. You can change target audience. You can still sell the product. You can change your business practices. So these are 6 categories that could make your business haram. Let's summarize. Product or service, number 1. Transaction types like riba or Gharar and so forth. People who you're working with or selling to. The funding sources. The business practices like fake testimonial, deceptive marketing, and so forth. And the impact that your business has on marketing. I hope you find this helpful, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you in your initiatives, and I ask you to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and only do that which is halal, because you don't want in the day of judgment to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with haram money, but you also don't want your dua to not be accepted. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.